Welcome to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. I am your host, Carmen McLeod. I am traveling the world as an artist and tour guide, and along the way I am documenting my journey of personal development, self-reflection, and spiritual growth. Through my stories, I hope to inspire you to create the life of your dreams and remind you how powerful you truly are in this world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of transcendent transformation. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining once again. I'm really excited to bring you another interview. There's going to be plenty more interviews. I'm so blessed to have been able to talk with so many beautiful people over the last few weeks. And another one coming to you. So Terry Ford, I met him through my friend Kelsey. She was on my podcast a few weeks ago. Terry Ford is a chef, herbalist, and farmer, and he has got a really powerful message to share and a really beautiful vision for his life and for the world, and I'm really excited for you to hear what he's got to say. And, I think his biggest message would be to return people back to nature. Because, you know what, I'll let you hear. I won't say any more on that. But he's a really powerful individual. I barely even know him, or I barely knew him before having him on here. Now I feel like I know him really well. But I just knew right from meeting him one time that he's in alignment with the podcast, and he's got the right vibration, and he is going to plant beautiful seeds of hope and wonder in all of you in so many ways. So I'm really excited for you to get to know him. So enjoy, let us know what you think. I'm really excited to have you here, and I'm gonna ask before I get you to tell us about your story, what is your intention for this episode?
My intentions are to express the depths of who I am in the hopes that someone out there will resonate with my journey and will have the permission slip to more easily and effortlessly navigate their own journey.
Beautiful. Excellent. Something that I wrote down for an intention that I want to bring as well is for me is to bring attention to the power of food on our mind, body, and soul, because I know that's really a huge part of what you do, and I'm really excited to hear I've been way more excited to hear about the story that goes along with that, how you got to that point in your life. What brought you to where you are now? That's where all the juice comes from. It was like, what was breakthroughs and breakdowns that led you to be where you are now? I want to hear all of it. No time constraints. Tell me everything. Yeah. But first off, do you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your journey?
Yeah, I might really easily segue into that really quickly. But my name is Terry Ford. I reside currently for a little bit of time now on the Big Island of Hawaii for the last 3 years. I am a chef, herbalist, life coach, amp man, a good friend, and so much more, gardener, and so much more. I talk so much about returning to nature because nature has so much of the answers for us and for free. Yeah. That's just a little snippet of who I am, and where do we start?
That's beautiful elevator pitch, like 10 out of 10. Do you want to just tell us tell us how you got here? Any key points in your life that's brought you to where you are now? Spare no details.
I think I guess the biggest key point is a lot of times not really listening to myself and my path, and I kind of ended in really interesting situations. But through that, I got a chance to define who and what I really wanted in my life. So, for instance, right out of college, I had a choice: where do I want to go after college? And I ended up in South Carolina, and I didn't go to school in South Carolina, but I ended up in South Carolina just following friends and family and stuff. And I went there to start my culinary journey. And I thought it was a good idea for, in my great wisdom to work at a prison to be a great resume builder. I don't know. I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good resume builder. Yeah, right. Well, I probably say it's a lot. Long story short, but I'll make it more long. It's just maybe a catchphrase I use. I went there for an interview and wanted to say I want to run the cafeteria, and somehow I got co like convinced and coerced into actually not running the cafeteria, but being a correctional guard. And somehow I walked out a correctional guard instead of. I was like, wait, what happened?
Oh my
So that was
gosh.
a very interesting part of my life. Being a guard at like minimum security prison. It was like have you ever seen the show Orange is the New Black?
Yeah.
It was just like that. It was like really like it was very interesting. The stories I could say and tell you from this institution. But I did get a chance to see how people were being treated in there. I did get to truly see the food they were eating. And like they were farming there too, but they didn't get a chance to eat any of the foods. Like, so I got to
Mm-hmm.
see firsthand of the disparity around food and mentality, I would say too, about them releasing people that they knew they were going to come back because the system, they know they're going to come back, and the people that they know they're not coming back, they hold them there. So I
Wow.
got to see a lot of interesting scenarios around like the system
Mm-hmm.
and food. It was very powerful. And that really got a chance to more define like, well, I never want to be in a situation like this where I can't choose my food and food is so powerful and food can be a mood elevator or a mood, uh, like, suppressor. So that was a very interesting noticing point along my journey, even though I would say, did I choose the right scenario? Who knows? Yes or no? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one really benchmark on my path. And yeah, interject whenever you want to. I'm usually actually the one asking questions, so it's like it's very interesting me just talking.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's
for
very
sure.
interesting. So after a year or so of being locked up in a prison, even though I got paid for it, but locked up in a prison, and got a chance to really learn how to talk to people as people. You know, people say they're prisoners, but like they're just there's nothing wrong. There's nothing different between you, me, and them. Is they got caught and you didn't. For minimum security prison, the most things is stuff that you've probably done too yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, and I got a chance to like really talk to people and learn to de-escalate people and their emotional states and really just like not being seen or heard or their emotions are just like they're not have control of their emotions and learn to really talk to people and see people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really as I talk about it, I'm really seeing how I've grown since then. So that was very insightful scenario. And after I left, I had another crossroads once again
Mm-hmm.
to do one way or the other. And one path was leading me to California to go trim. And at the time, back in 2004 or five, something like that. No, it couldn't be 2007, I think. Um, to go trim. And at that time, I didn't know that was a real thing. I was like, whoa, that sounds sketchy. I'm not doing that. And my
Mm-hmm.
friend was saying like, well, hey, come up to back to Indiana, where I'm originally from, to work in a factory. Guaranteed all this money, all these things. And it's interesting because that's not what I wanted. But I had a story of my mom worked in a factory and this story, like, oh, that makes more sense. And even though I probably would have had a fun time in California and really just discovering who I am as a person, I acknowledge that story of what I've been raised on. Like, oh, okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
what you do. You know, you want to make money, you go to a factory, yada, yada, yada.
Mm.
And so I went that route once again. Which what road did I what road was beneficial for me? So I would actually say, yeah, it was a very tough road. I would say that. I quickly realized that the working conditions in this place was very, very low. Like, the people, the energy was just really heavy. Everybody that was there told themselves they had to do this. It was nothing I want to do this. They're doing this because of family. They're doing this because of this, X, Y, and Z. So it's like out of like survival mode
Mm.
energy. Um, the actual air quality of the factory was very low. It was very actually poisonous, you would say, of
Mm.
the chemicals being sprayed. Just yeah, just the working day, no days off throughout the whole week, working all the time, all the time, like 80 hours, maybe plus a week.
Mm.
And yeah, so that was interesting because then I quickly got a chance to define what I wanted. And I'll never forget because I quickly defined I need clean air. I need clean water, but it wasn't there. I need shirt, shoes optional. Because I had all this whole gear on. It was so hot, so sweaty. Yeah, I wanted the best food possible. And that was definitely a noticing moment for myself. Like I was like, what do I want? And
Mm.
I, teacher that I follow, Abraham Hicks, says, do you know who Abraham Hicks is?
Oh yeah.
Okay, awesome. I love her. And
Yes.
so she says, when you don't want, you instantly know what you do want because it's the opposite
Mm.
of that.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I know what I want now. And right before that, there was like a really like energetic path moment when I noticed a elderly lady and she was at the end of her ropes. Like I think she had a type of cancer. Her health was declining. All her medical time was gone, so she couldn't leave. She could leave at a certain time of day, but she had to stay there until a certain time. Her husband was couldn't work. She like was stuck,
Mm.
and I felt so emotional, energetic connection to her, and seeing that, I just said no, that will not be me. And that was the exact moment I still remember that I'm like, nope, yeah, can't do that.
Mm.
So that's when I started making moves, choices to uplift what I wanted, and that didn't mean leave that job right away. It actually was, you know, really grounded. I started learning about health. I started changing my diet. I started bringing different foods into work. And even though everybody would make fun of me, like, whoa, what is that? What is that green thing you're drinking? I was like, oh, it's swamp juice. I just have fun with it because I am a
Yeah.
naturally uplifting person. Like to me, things don't really get to me at all. Like, what's that stuff? Oh, it's bird food. Because I know that's what they're saying already. Like, hey, yeah, it's bird food. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
some granola here. I got some fruits and stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
And I would offer people some kombucha that I would make, even though it's interesting because the one woman I did offer to, I forgot how powerful it is if you're not on a good, clean diet. She was like, dude, I've been in the bathroom for an hour and a half. I'm like, whoa, whoops. Um, so like even in that scenario, I did find fun. I did find laughter in any situation, and I really do tell anybody you can bloom wherever you're planted. You might not thrive, but you can bloom wherever you're planted.
I love that.
So yeah, and I think a big, huge noticing moment that you would think that would be like, oh, Terry's almost out of there, but actually it's just getting worse, actually. At least I had a roadmap. So in that time where I was at the factory, I met somebody at the not at the factory, but during the factory. I didn't have discernment. This is what taught me discernment in a really strong way. So met someone online dating, first time ever online dating.
Mm.